I hope you guys are ready. We're ready for this yet another morning of knowledge impacting. I hope you guys have been training. You've been practicing. Hope you've been practicing what we went through the previous classes. I hope by now you should be able to at least draw your support and resistance effectively on the chart. And also, I believe you should be in position by now to use the two indicators that we discussed about, the stochastic RSI and then the Fibonacci, to actually identify trade opportunities or make informed decisions with regards to your trading. I am so happy and glad that I have one of the students, I would call a student, but one of the trader who happens to be in these classes in the past week that is actually on a serious practice and is improving and perfecting his trading skills with regards to the use of the trend line, the use of the stochastic RSI, and then the Fibonacci. Is always improving and practicing. And because of his practicing, he's actually improving on his skills so much. He always shares with me a screenshot of his analysis, and he always actually does not just practice, he's also using it, he's trying his skill in the market, he's trying to make entries here and there, and he's winning. He's actually doing it so right and well. So it's actually boils down to what we always share in our class here, that you should not only stop at attending the class, you shouldn't be a spectator. After a class, when you move out of the class, try to do some practice before you can forget what what they shared to you. Try to do some practice here and there, such that at least in places or areas you're finding difficulties, when we come to a class like this, you can always raise such concerns and we see how best to help you out. Still, if you cannot wait for the class, you may have avenues of reaching out to your upline or your mentor or the different leaders on the call always to try to help you out. You can try to share screenshots of your analysis with them and they see how they can help you better, other than just sitting, because the skill set becomes more important and impactful when you practice them. Because learning is always in the doing. When you learn and you don't do, it's literally equivalent to not learning at all. So it's very important that you always put this to practice. Because in our class, as we always say, we tend to simplify this analysis. We tend not to use so much of complicated words. We tend not to use so much of the technical terms, but we rather try to simplify it in a way that even a layman's person can
All right. Good morning, everybody. I hope you are doing well. Yeah, I'm silent because I'm trying to see if I could get back. Uh, but he's back already. Okay, good.
All right, sorry guys. Uh, there's a network issue. It completely went off. I was even wondering what the problem is when the MBs, when I even have the MBs required. So I'm trying to wonder. Okay, I think we are good. I hope my audio is clear now. Okay. All right. So having said whatever I said at the start, I think let's dive into what we are supposed to look at today. But before then, maybe I want to give us confidence. I think a number of uh, traders are actually sending messages, are sending me messages directly into my inbox. People are as if people are developing weakness in trusting in what the market potential may be in the next few couple of days. But what I want to tell us all is that you see, we need to we need to be patient with the market. The guys who are crying at the moment and the guys who are so much weakened by the recent uh, bearish movement, I would not even call it a bearish movement, a dump in the market. Really, I've not yet experienced anything because this is not a market I should call for alarm at the moment. This is a scenario that oftentimes repeats itself before a bull run sets off. You see, the challenge is, yes, we've been talking about the bull run, but the challenge that most people have in the mind, they think the bull run just comes overnight. There is always trends of events that happen to prepare for the real actual bull run. Yes, this is the bull run. This is the year we have been talking about, the 2025 bull run, and it's going to be one of the most historical bull run so far that if you bet, you will ever experience because of a lot of reasons that we've been giving. For those who have always been in attendance of the classes we conduct. But I want to give you an assurance that you see, at the moment, the best you could do, if you have some reserve capital, as we always say, please buy the dip. Okay? Buy the dip because the next movement will be a movement that will be like no other. And you'll never get a chance and opportunity of again buying the dip like you maybe probably would have done this time. It's not a financial advice, but for those who know, you really know. And for those who understand, it should be important to know what I'm talking about. Okay. So the opportunity is here for you to buy the dip. Because at the end of it all, ladies and gentlemen, we are dealing in the sports market. It's something we've always been singing about that. In a sports market, you don't lose. In fact, you own whatever asset you're buying. And the best time is you even accumulate more of these positions when you buy when the price is low. So the time is really now for you to understand these concepts. There's a difference between the two. Okay? There's a difference between these two. Buy the dip. Just continue buying the dip. If you continue doing that, the so the time is gonna come when you're gonna enjoy this. Okay? Let's be patient. Let's try to begin doing what we can control if you can. Try to share the opportunities, get some capital. If you have some other sources of the capital where you can get them, please do that and keep on buying the dip. Let your continue accumulating these positions, yeah? Because in so doing, you know that at the end of it all, you'll be moving your average price closer to your current price. And also, not only that, the effect of moving the average price closer to the current price is that the floating loss percentage will be reducing. And in the next movement, you will be quickly, and trust me, some of you will, this movement will get you by surprise because you're going to be sleeping, you're going to be forgetting about the market, and before you know it, you wake up and you're out of the market. Trust me, it's what is going to happen with most people. Okay, yeah. So that is just an sort of an encouragement and just increase your confidence in the market that things are going to be. So the best you can do now, concentrate in learning and practicing so that you can perfect your skill further. Now, today we're going to look at something simple. We're going to look at one of the indicators that is the most simplest to understand because having looked at the other two indicators, which are also so powerful, these indicators as well is one of those that you can rely on and rely on. And as I said, it's about you choosing your preference with regards to these indicators and then improve or perfect your skill in them. The more you use an indicator, ladies and gentlemen, the more you use a tool, an analytical tool, the more you become so acquainted with, and the more the picture of the market becomes so clear. Okay? There are trends of things that will be happening, and once you see them happening, you'll be in position to recall what happened sometimes back and what, when you were trying to make actual decisions with regard to entry. So when they continue happening, the more they become part of you. And the more you use those indicators, the more it's going to be perfect when it comes to using them in your analysis. So it's about choosing an indicator and probably maybe a price analytical tool that you're going to rely on to do your analysis. You may not choose all, but out of the many, at least pick out, you have to stick with around three. Have some three that you know. With these three, once put them on the chart or I load them on the chart. Once I see them speaking specific language, then this is what is most likely going to happen. At least you should be use your confidence with regards to analysis. So the indicator we're going to look at today is actually what we call, let me share my screen. Share my screen. Share my screen. Okay, so the indicator we're going to look at is actually called the Bollinger Bands. Now, this indicator, I believe, is one of those indicators that Julius has been sharing with you guys, including what we're only doing is to re-emphasize and probably, explain further so that you can have a better understanding in case you missed out on some part in the previous lessons. So I'm gonna load it on the chat. Mm. Mm. Ooh-wee. Oh. Serious. What? Whoa. Okay. That's it. So, okay. I think we're through with this. Let me see. Okay. Let's go back to, let me just, just a moment. Let me just try. Okay. Let me use this just to help us understand. Yeah. When I look at today, yes, put this in. Okay. So the indicator is called the Bollinger Bands. So this is the indicator. I believe you now know how to search for the indicator. So the indicator is called the Bollinger Bands. And so when you tap on it, where is it? You tap on it. So that's how it will appear on the chart. Now, the Bollinger Bands, in simple terms, and I'm gonna explain it in the most simplest way for you to understand. The Bollinger Band has a set of three lines. First of all, the Bollinger Band is an indicator that helps you in first one, identifying the trend of the market. Okay? It helps you identify trends in the market. And also, at the same time, the Bollinger Bands can help you identify the possible trend reversal areas. Okay? Remember, the Bollinger Band has the three lines, which to me, in the simplest form, I would explain it or tell you that it's more of a support and a resistance. They are trend lines, but trend lines that move along with the trend in a way that may not appear linear, like we see when drawing the trend lines using the tools, the support and resistance, whether horizontally or diagonally. But this movement, these lines that move along with the trend acts as resistance. Now, to explain further, there are three lines. There is the upper line, okay, which moves above the trend. Then there is the lower line, and then there is the middle line. The middle line is more of like is the moving average. It's the moving average. But at the same time, it also acts as a support and resistance depending on where the market price is. Okay? If the market price of that coin is trading above the middle line becomes a support. If it's trading below it, it acts as a resistance. All right? Okay? Yeah. So it is what it is actually one of the strongest line through which you can be keeping your eyes on in the course of the market price movement. All right. Now, the upper and the lower line more or less act as a demarcation within which the market price will be moving back and forth. Once you see a point comes where the market price touches the upper line, just know it will be a point of trend reversal. Now, the trend reversal most at times will be an attempt to gain momentum to cause a continuation in the previous trend, or it may be actually a reversal completely down to the downtrend. Okay. So that is when the market price touches on the upper line. Same applies to when it touches on the lower line. Also, it's an indication of a trend reversal. But at the end of it all, the upper and the lower line helps in determining the volatility of the market. Okay. Now remember, these two lines move together. They move together in this manner. There's the middle line, which is of course the blue line, and then there is the upper line, and then there is the lower line. Okay. Now, since this line moves parallel along with one another, it helps us determine the volatility of the market in such a way that when the upper line deviates away from the middle line, I mean the lower line, it shows you that there is an increase in volatility of the market. It means at that time, traders are more into the market. Very many traders are in the market. Okay. At that point, the market is very busy. Okay. But the moment the two lines begin moving towards one another, it means that there is that there's actually the market is continuously or gradually losing momentum, meaning traders are beginning to move away okay, from the market. Either the taking of profit or the accumulating positions. So the market may slightly go into consolidation, right? To determine the next phase in which, determine the next direction in which the market price is most likely going to take. So the divergence and the divergence or the convergence of these two lines help you to determine the volatility of the market. All right. Now, if the two lines move up far apart, it means there's an increase in volatility. If the two lines that's the upper and the lower band, or the lower and the upper lines begin moving together, it shows you that the volatility is reducing. Okay. Now, what is most important is not even how these lines move. The most important thing is to pay attention to how the candlesticks react upon approaching the middle line. Okay? Because the middle line is actually the best line that provides for entry opportunities. It is the best line. So as you're observing market movement based on the Bollinger Band, your attention should be so much focused on the middle line or the moving average. Okay? The moving average should be, and it should be the indicator, the most important indicator for you to make trade entry and exit. Now, I'm going to explain this in this way. When I come to the line here, when you come to the chart, I want us to pay attention to how this, okay? I want us to pay attention to how these lines move. Let me begin from here. You will realize that for as long as the market price is moving, is above the middle line, the price would be in an uptrend, right? For as long as the market price is above the movement line, the middle line, the price would be in an uptrend. Now, I want you to also pay attention to this. A moment you see the candle slightly goes above. Okay, let me explain here. Now this one here, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, in an uptrend, the upper line moves away from the middle line, and then the lower line tends to deviate away from the middle line. All right. But what happens is, in the process of, that is for as long as the market price is on the rise. If a point comes where the candlestick slightly moves above the upper line, okay? If it moves slightly above the upper line, you should be prepared for a trend, a retracement. Sorry, not a trend reverse, but a retracement. And this retracement will be back to this middle line. The retracement will be to the middle line. I don't know whether it is making sense. If you come, if in the course of the market rising upwards, and then you come across a candle that breaks or that attempts to break above the upper line, you should be prepared for a good pullback or retracement, and the retracement back to the middle line. In a scenario where the candle comes and closes below, or crosses and closes below the middle line, you should be prepared for a trend reversal. So meaning the next stopover may be when the price touches on the lower line. Okay? So I repeat this one more time. In an uptrend, the upper line deviates away from the the lower line. But what will be important there is the middle line would be keeping track. Much as it will be deviating, it will be attempting to deviate from it, but it will still maintain the trend in which the other upper line is making. It is this one that will be deviating and moving away from it. But as the other one is moving away, this middle line keeps on leaning to. Sorry. So in an upper line, in an uptrend, the upper line deviates away from the lower line. from the upper line, but maintaining that movement and leaning towards the upper line. Now, to track through this trend, now it becomes a point where the candlestick, touches and crosses above the upper line, you should be prepared for a retracement. A retracement means the market price is going to come back to our moving average or the middle line. So if at all it is supposed to continue maintaining that uptrend, it will have to first dip or touch the middle line before it can again gather momentum to continue and maintain the other kind of movement. Okay? But when you come across a scenario where the market price, upon reaching this middle line, crosses below or breaks below it, okay, like we are seeing here, in case nothing happens, another candle builds up from below, and then you should be prepared for a reversal. It means this trend, which was previously on an uptrend, is now going to reverse and have a downward movement. So the whole of this deviation, this gap here, would be filled by a downward movement. I don't know whether it is making sense. Is it making any sense? Tell me if it is making sense or it is not making any sense at all. Will you excuse my voice? Office disturbing me a little. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's okay. Some are saying it is making sense. Some are saying not making sense. And okay, let's see. Let's go through it one more time. Let me explain it in the most simplest way again. Let me try to explain it in the most simplest way. Just a minute. Just a minute. Uh-huh. Let me share my screen again. Okay. First point five. The Bollinger Band. Are you aware, or did you get it clearly that the Bollinger Band helps in, first of all, measuring volatility? Two, it helps in indicating the trend. Did you pick these 2 points? That it helps in actually identifying the trend, okay? Or it helps in monitoring the trend. And two, it also helps in measuring volatility of the market. Did you understand that aspect? If you understood that aspect, let me know. You can just share one on the chat. If you understood that aspect of what the Bollinger Band helps you to do, one, measuring the volatility of the market, which volatility is actually it will be an attempt to try to measure it will be trying to measure price changes, okay, and how fast that is happening, okay, and how fast that is happening simply would help you know what is happening in the market at that time, meaning more traders will be in the market, of course, at that time. That's why the market price is changing so quickly. Yeah. So that is important. Now, if you've understood that aspect, that it helps you measure the volatility of the market, and two, it helps you monitor a trend. The second point I want to make here is that the Bollinger Bands has 3 lines. There is the upper band, there's the middle band, and then there's the lower band. And these 3 bands tend to move almost parallel with one another, but following the trend. But at some point, the upper line or the upper band and the lower line or the lower band tend to deviate from each other, and at some point they tend to converge towards one another. Is that point also picked up? Is that understood as well? That there will come a point, much as they will be running parallel, there will come a point, where this upper band and the lower band will lean towards the middle line, what we'll call converging. Then there will be a point where the two lines will be moving away from the middle line, meaning it will be deviating from each other. The lower line will deviate away from the upper line, meaning it will almost be leaving this one in the middle, deciding on what to do next. If the market price is on an uptrend, this one will begin leaning towards the upper band. If it is on a downtrend, it will begin leaning towards the lower band. So the middle line for it leans towards the band that is actually telling you the trend or the direction of the market. It leans towards the band that is trying to indicate the direction of the market. Okay? But the most important thing is these two bands at some point, much as they'll be running parallel, it will come a point where they will converge towards one another. They will be converging towards the middle line. Okay? Then there will be a point where the upper band and the lower band will deviate away from another. Yes. Is that understood? Before we continue? Okay, I think that point is comprehended very well. Yeah, so let's move. Let's continue. Now we're taking it step at a time. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let me share screen again. Okay. Now, in an uptrend, in an uptrend market, the upper band deviates away from the lower band, right? But the middle line tends to lean towards the upper band in an attempt to monitor through how the price will be moving. When a point comes where a candle attempts to cross above the upper band, you should be prepared for a retracement back to this line, to this middle line. Be prepared for a retracement to this line. Then once the retracement is successful, then we're going to encounter another trend reversal to maintain the previous trend that was on the rise. But the moment a candle attempts to break above or to cross the upper band, prepare for a serious retracement back to this middle line. Before we can see if the middle line successfully supports, okay, price, then we are going to have a reversal back to continue the previous trend. These are the trends that we were actually witnessing. So meaning, this is what you should expect. This, we shall expect that. Okay, sorry, let me just draw it again. You expect that. Then we expect the middle one. This one will be like this. Now, if the candles were trading, just within this region, then one attempts to cross above. You're going to expect a retracement back to this middle line. Then you shall have that movement again. So momentum will be gathered, and then we're going to have the trend continuing like that. So you'll have a moment of this, and then retracement, and then that. So as long as the middle line supports the price, that is what you should expect. But that only happens when a candle attempts to break above the upper band. Is that clear? Is that understood as well? Yeah, we're going to see this practically, but I want you to first understand that aspect of the theory. Is that okay for everyone? Okay. If it is okay, then let's proceed. Let's proceed. Now, this kind of movements is going to be recorded, okay? Is going to be recorded for as long as the price is on a rise. If we are in an uptrend, you shall see scenarios of this happening. The upper band will continuously deviate from the middle band, but we shall be experiencing a moment of retracement. Then again, we have a continuation. Once an attempt is made to break above, then we have another moment of retracement, and then like that. Until a point is going to come where the next attempt of retracement fails, meaning the next retracement will be failed in such a manner that if the retracement, the candles that were attempting to retrace to be supported at the middle line fails to be supported, rather it breaks below, okay? Then we are going to, it must break below, and then it must retest the very same line, the very same middle line, before we can see a massive move back to the lower band. So meaning, if we are having an uptrend, this is our middle line, then there was a deviation. Then upon the market, upon the candle coming back to this support line, which is our middle line, in an attempt to retrace, fails to retrace, but rather it breaks below, and then it retests the line, we are going to have a scenario of this nature. The market price is going to drop significantly to this lower band. This is a scenario where we say the trend has reversed. Now, mostly this moment is not the best because you can end up going into a very deep floating loss. Okay, it's normally not the best. It must break below, right? Below the line, the middle line, then it goes back, retests it, and then we have that movement. So it will be more of like the break of structure, a retest, and then, that will be a big movement. Now, if that happens, that is a scenario where we shall say the trend has reversed. Okay? The trend has reversed. Now, sometime this happens immediately, but sometimes it happens when there is a scenario of this nature. See this? This was an uptrend. Okay? Then the middle line was tracking the uptrend. Okay? This one was trying to deviate away, but now it is beginning to converge. If that was an uptrend, and then you see the line beginning to converge, okay, towards one another, just be rest assured that we're going to have a divergence and a convergence, but this time it will be a trend reversal to the downside. Comprehended? Is it clear? Is it okay? Now, the not one is coming. The not aspect is coming. The not aspect is coming. Not, 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 and not, and not. Well, let me share my screen. 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 Okay, here we are. Now, not. Not. For as long as you see no convergence sign, for as long as you see no sign of convergence, meaning you see no sign of the upper band beginning to lean towards the middle band, and you also don't see a scenario where the lower band is beginning to lean towards the middle band, you should be rest assured that that will be a continuation of the upper trend. That is in case this is the setup, that the market price is on a rise. This one is continuously deviating away from the middle line, and this one is also deviating away from the middle line. This one is deviating opposite, the other one is also deviating opposite to each other. Then the middle line will be bending towards the upper band. For as long as you see no sign of convergence between the upper band and the lower band, just be rest assured that once the market price comes onto the middle line and it is successfully supported, you're going to have a continuation of the previous trend. But for you to come out with the decision that the market price has finally come to the end of the uptrend, you should be in position to spot a convergence. There should be a convergence, meaning there has to come a point where the market, the candle has, or the market has to retrace back to this point, and then it should be followed. This other upper band has to follow this kind of retracement. It has to follow the retracement. It will be following the retracement to the middle line. Meanwhile, this one also will be following that retracement towards the middle. So it will be leaning towards the middle line. The moment you see this band, the upper band and the lower band leaning towards the middle line, in other terms of the market price coming back to the middle line, you should be rest assured that you should now know that that trend which you were previously monitoring is coming to an end because there's a loss of momentum. The volatility is reducing. So it means if previously traders were, the market price was on a rise, it means buyers were busy in the market buying. And the moment you see a convergence beginning to happen, it means that simply the buyers who accumulated enough position are ready to begin taking up profit, or they have started taking up profit. And because of beginning to continue taking up profit, you're going to be seeing the market price drop. Now, the Bollinger Band helps in indicating, it helps in giving you a signal of what is about to happen in the market. It gives you that information that in the look of things, the way things are behaving at the moment, by the leaning of this upper band and the lower band towards the middle line, it means the market is losing momentum. It is losing volatility. So meaning if the traders, the buyers were in control at that moment, that brought about the increase in the market price. Now it is time for them to begin taking off profit. So anytime soon, the market price is going to begin having a reversal of the previous trend, which is a downtrend. Is that okay? Is that okay for everyone? Yeah. For now. Okay. Oh, this one that I'm new, I don't understand anything. It's okay. It's okay not to understand everything, or anything. It's very okay. Yeah, it's very okay. It's very, very okay not to understand anything, especially if you're a newbie. So just keep on attending the class. You begin understanding something. Yeah, you'll understand. If you're not understanding anything, you'll understand something at least. And I trust maybe you this is the first time to join the class. So if you had maybe probably joined from the beginning, at least you would have something that you will pick. But now that you're not picking anything, that means you really won't pick anything at all. So next time better. Next time better. Keep attending. Maybe someday you'll learn pick something. Yeah, at least you will have a ground to begin from. Yeah. So yeah, so if that is okay for everyone, let's come back here on the final phase of the class. Let's come back to the final phase. Before we can go there, let me just go back and try to view how the things has been happening in relation to how we're explaining it. Let me come to this point here. Now, let's just move on through. Uh-huh. Now, let's have a look at what has been happening with regards to the Bollinger Bands. You see this? Let's begin from here. Let me begin from here. Let's begin from here. You see? Okay, let's just begin from this divergence point. Okay, let me begin from a divergence point here. Let's begin our journey from here. We see that initially the two lines were almost running parallel for some time. The parallel running of these three lines for some time is an indication of a consolidating market. Mhm. With logo. So it's a sign of a consolidating market. Okay, it means it is a ranging market, and so traders are trying to accumulate positions. Now, a moment we begin experiencing a divergence, meaning the upper line trying to deviate away from the middle line and the lower line also trying to deviate away from the middle line. That is when we say now the price is expanding. I believe you remember the price delivery algorithm. The price is now expanding. Okay, it has to expand before it retraces. Then it expands before it retraces. Then finally there will be a reversal. Now in this case here, if you can see, there was an expansion. Okay, and the expansion, what brought about this change in the trend is because of the attempt of this red candle breaking below the lower band. That means it was preparing for a reversal at this point. Now, let's see here. From this point, when the candle broke above the middle line, okay, there was a break of structure, there was a retest, and then we had this movement continuously until we reached the point where some candle attempted to break above the upper band. Then what happened? There was a significant retracement back to the middle line. That means the price really was moving away from the middle line for some time, and the middle line was helping us to monitor through how the trend was on a rise. But a moment it attempted to break above, then there was a big moment of retracement here. And a retracement normally or a pullback is an attempt of the market price to gain momentum or to build momentum to maintain the previous trend, right? So for as long as the price is supported successfully, what do we see? We see that the price will come back above the middle line and begin trading above the line. Then we have this kind of movement, okay? So as long as it is supported, we shall have a movement in that manner in an attempt to maintain the previous trend. And another scenario that brought about a trend pullback or a market price pullback was this. At this attempt of breaking above the upper band, you saw that the price had to quickly drop back to this middle line. Now, the middle line is like the benchmark. It's the benchmark that determines, okay, that determines the deviation, okay? It's the benchmark. It's the benchmark upon which once the price was on a rise and it comes and touches, it is supposed to either support or it is supposed, the price has to break below it. Once it is supports a price, be rest assured that the price is going to rise again. If it breaks below that, if the price breaks below it, be rest assured that the price, the trend would have already changed. So it is going to have the next direction or the next of the previous direction. Okay. So this is what has been happening. So meaning, as a trader who is dependent on the Bollinger Band to make entry opportunities, the best entry opportunities happen in three areas. I mean, in two areas, not three areas, two areas. One, when the price pulls back to the middle line, if it were previously trading above it. If it pulls back to the middle line, that is a good entry opportunity. Secondly, if the price comes and touches on the lower line, band, sorry. If it breaks below the middle line and it comes and touches on the middle or on the lower line, it's another entry opportunity. Now, depending on where you enter from, if you enter when the market price touches the lower band, any point you enter from, measure the distance between the two lines, between the middle line and then the lower line. Whatever you get there as a percentage will be your take profit. Remember, just like I said the other time, that if you want to make the best trading decisions, always be between the Fibonacci when you're using the Fibonacci, right? Because the Fibonacci already helps you in establishing the support and resistance. So if you can trade within, that means you'll be safer. So the same applies to this. You will not assume that the market price is going to come and break above the middle line. All you are at least sure of is that the price, upon touching the lower band, it will pick up slightly. It will move away from the lower band towards the middle band. Okay? Whether the middle band supports it or not, it's none of your business. For you, are interested in taking off profit from that small movement. Okay? So you enter from the middle band, and then the lower band, and take profit to the middle band. Now you will continue trading like that until a point of a break of structure happens where the candle will up and form and break above the middle line. Once it breaks above the middle line, to you, that is the break of structure. That is the break of resistance level. So you'll enter at any point and then take off profit to your upper band. Take profit to the upper band. Okay? So that is simply how you trade using the Bollinger Band. You make entry at the lower band, take profit to the middle band. If a break of structure happens, that means you enter from whatever point you want to enter and take profit to the upper band. Secondly, for as long as the market price is on an uptrend, what is most important is you make entry from when the price is supported in the middle band and then take profit to the upper band. Okay? If a retracement happens like this, you enter here and then you take profit to that point. Now, what is most important here that we need to take note of is pay much attention to what happens when the market price is retracing. Sometimes retracement may not be actual retracement, it may be a reversal. So because of the high volatility of the market at that time, sometimes this retracement may not be exactly at the middle line. Sometimes it tends to dip slightly. So meaning, if you are using a preset price, after seeing a scenario like this, you could wait possibly and set your entry point at the middle line. But as you set your preset at the middle line, try to create provision for margin call drops, at least something about 2 to 3%, because sometimes because of the high volatility, the price will come and break below slightly, but it will then finally pick up. So it is very important to do that. You never know. In the process of the market price dropping slightly below the middle band, and then the robot buying off the other margin call drops that would have established, yeah, as a result of taking advantage of this, of this area below the middle line, You never know, in the process of the market price picking up, you'll actually get out of the market, depending on that multiple buying ratio strategy you use. If you use the double up, there's even more high chance of you getting out even before the price picks up so quick, so bigger. Okay, you'll quickly be out. All right. So always, even after setting a preset, always make sure you establish margin call drop. Now, in an attempt to establish margin call drop, that is where now the support and resistance scale comes in. You're not just going to establish it anyhow. You would base on the support and resistance. Like, for instance, if this was the scenario that you encountered, if you want to set your preset on this middle line, simply draw your support and resistance based on the previous. Like here, you see, this was the previous support area. It's a price reaction area. So you could set that. So meaning, if you're going to establish your preset at this point, you're assuming now the market price will be dropping, right? It will be coming down and it will be approaching the middle line, right? It will be approaching the middle line. So if you set your preset price on the middle line, okay, what you're going to do is measure that distance to this support. And the support, of course, is based on the trend line. You would draw your trend line very well so that you can identify the possible support point. So that in case of the figures, because of the high volatility, in case the market, if the robot buys off your position at the preset and it tends to dip below slightly, it will find when you have set your margin call drop exactly below it. This will be more like for those who like trading manually, or who like trading in other financial instrument, that will be like more of your stop loss. Okay, it will be like a point where you know that in case now the market price dips below this area, then instead of the market price going against me, or probably then I get liquidated, I would rather incur the small loss. At least reserve whatever capital you reserve, and then let the other smaller loss go. So it will be like more of like a stop loss. But in this case, it is not a stop loss, it's a margin call drop. It's an opportunity to buy. Okay, to buy. Okay, so that is briefly what that would mean. So you can establish this margin call drop. You can establish as many margin call drop as you can. Another one would be around that point. So you can measure that distance just to be on a safer side. If you establish, for example, this point as the preset, you will measure this distance. This is almost like a 10, a 12% drop. You can do that because after all, you'll be doing this with an intention of avoiding too much floating loss. Okay, now let me come back to the time frame. When you're choosing the time frame to use, choose a time frame. Like I told you the other time, the time frame you choose to trade in does not matter. It's you who has to pick a time frame that you can base on to analyze your market. No one will always recommend that this is the best. To everyone, a time frame is the best, but it depends on which one for you are going to be used to. Okay, you have to choose your own. For me, I love this 1 hour time frame. As I always say, I love the 1 hour time frame. That is if I want to have a bigger picture of what the market looks like. Then I prefer using the 15 minutes time frame to enter. Sometimes I even analyze in the 1 hour time frame and I enter there immediately. So I am flexible on the time frame. I don't have a specific rule of that you analyze in the bigger time frame, then enter in this time frame. For me, any time frame I trade in. I trade in any time frame, but mostly within 1 hour, and then 30 minutes and 15. Those are the three that I love trading in, because for me, I love the current price entry opportunity. I don't wait for bigger. I don't wait. I don't like waiting for so long. I love taking advantage of those small, mini market price movement. That's why I love trading within those smaller time frames. Yeah. Yeah. So there's no rule that says you should specifically analyze in a given time frame and make entry in a given time frame. No, it's entirely up to you. If you design your strategy in such a way that you look at the market in a bigger time frame and then maybe enter in a smaller time frame, it's entirely upon you. Okay. But for me, I don't recommend any fixed. Okay. I don't recommend any fixed time frame for analysis and entry. No. But as I said, I can analyze in 15 minutes and make entry immediately there. Because there are some coins that even in 15 minutes may be very volatile to such a point that a smaller movement gives you 2-3%. So I love trading in such markets. Yeah. There are other time frames where you go to 15 minutes time frame and you measure a distance, a very bigger distance, you find that it is just going for 0.5%. A very big percent, a very big difference, a very big distance is just giving you 0.5%. Now, in such markets, I don't trade in them. I love a volatile market. Yeah, because that is where the money will be. Yeah, that's where you can be making the money because that is the busiest market for making money. Though it is also riskier. Yeah, because in the case of any dam, you also enjoy the big floating loss. Yeah. But anyway, that is it. I hope, I hope, I hope, I've, I hope you've learned something. Probably. I hope you've learned something. I hope you've learned something. Oh yeah. So I think with that little that I shared for today, I think we may probably call it a day for today. Unless there's something, but would probably call that a day for now. Now, what is most important is as a take home, uh, when you are analyzing the market, please, okay? First of all, what we share here is knowledge based and practical based. We may not share everything that you really feel like you wanted to know, but at least we tend to share everything which we feel is very important for you to know. We may not share everything that you think you would like to know, but at least we share everything that we feel you may need. There is wanting, and then there is needing. So if you come across if you come onto the call expecting something and you don't expect the way you wanted it, you take up whatever we shared because that is what you need. All right. So make sure you pick a strategy for yourself. Make sure you design you base on the time frame of your preference. Design your own strategy. If you think analyzing in a bigger time frame and looking for entry opportunity in a smaller time frame makes sense to you, please adopt that. If you think analyzing and trading within the same time frame is okay for you, adopt that. Let me tell you, uh, don't be a tomboy when it comes to trade analysis. Don't be a tomboy. Don't behave like a prostitute, for lack of better words, where you look at this, you want that, you want to look at that, you want this, you want everything. No, you cannot want everything. You cannot want everything. You cannot want analyzing in higher time frame and then making entry in a small time frame. At the same time, you want to analyze in the same time frame and then you want to make entry in the very same time frame. You cannot want everything. You cannot want to know and use all the indicators at the same time. You are going to be very confused. You will fail to make decisions. Okay? You will fail. Pick 2 or 3. Fight and strive so much to perfect your skill in them. At least make sure you get used to those indicators. Make sure to learn and acclimatize yourself with how that indicator helps in painting a picture in the market with regards to your analysis. The better you do that, the better it will. I mean, the earlier and quicker you do that, the better it will improve on your skill. Okay? So that is what I would give you as a take home, and most especially, you keep practicing. Where you're finding difficulties, please contact the leaders. Contact your upline. Please contact your upline so that they can help you better. With all those much words, I beg to end here for today. Leader Julius, I hand over back to you, and we'll see what to do next.
Yes, thank you so much. Could we give some love heart, some thumbs up for the amazing sharing done by Coach Musa? Like I usually say, is that sometimes the questions might be many simply because this could be your first time of attending these classes. And the more you attend, the more you understand. So you may not have understood the first time, but one thing I know about us is that we keep repeating the same thing time over time. Okay, so if you don't understand today, attend tomorrow. Okay, and the beauty is that we are going to repeat these same indicators as they are available onto our Royal Q platform. So the more lessons you keep attending, the more understanding you will. It's just a matter of time. Where challenge plays in is when someone attends today, does not understand, gets annoyed, and then stops attending the classes. Okay? I've been here for the last close to 3 years, and every day is a learning day. But most importantly, the learning is in the doing. If you don't do, it's like pouring water on a stone. It is very important when you come to these trainings, open your mind like a parachute. Okay, when the mind is open like a parachute, is when uh, the information enters. Be free, have an open mind, because when the open mind sets in, then the learning becomes more clear. Okay, so now I was worried and scared of the markets, and my prediction of Bitcoin was $85,000. But things only changed yesterday, and I want to cause this understanding. I was even about to do a video, but you see, I'm not an FUD guy. I don't want to always cause fear. The Federal Reserve of US had decided that it will not continue to lower interest rates when it comes to allowing more money flowing in the markets. But till yesterday, when the team of Donald Trump, because the reason is that Donald Trump on day one is coming up with different policies that could cause inflation. But till yesterday, when the team of Donald Trump says is coming up with a plan that will avoid inflation. So that's when now I standing to change my idea that Bitcoin is not going to go to $85,000. Okay, but before that, after Federal Reserve had caused issues of not lowering interest rates, I could see that markets could continue to crash very deeply. But yesterday, around I think in the evening, at around I think 9 p.m. East Africa Standard Time, the team of Donald Trump is saying we are coming up with a strategy that the policies Donald Trump is bringing in play will not be able to cause hyperinflation because the policies are very wild, and these policies are going to be very key in pumping up markets. So the fear was that will this not affect financial markets? But since yesterday, now I'm solid, and I confirm that in the coming few days, today is the 14th, in the remaining 6 days, you might experience a life-changing opportunity. God bless you. I wish you all the best. And I believe the future is going to be more aggressive because on day one also, we see that Donald Trump is going to be signing an executive order of regulating cryptocurrencies across the United States of America. And you will just know this will cross board most of the countries across the world. I wish you all the best. Happy trading. The future is bright. Kill your fears, kill your doubts, position yourself to the future, do what you are supposed to do, keep active, keep following. The best is yet to come. God bless you. Make sure you keep the three. They are key. You trade, you build, you hold. You trade, you build, you hold. You trade, you build, you hold. I've had so many people speak bad about building. That's why the next class is very key. And I have a question. Usually, me personally, uh, I compare this to one of the person I look up to. And the person I look up to is none other than CZ, the founder of Binance. And this guy, at his earlier stage of starting cryptocurrency, was playing a poker or a game with their friends, and they were talking about Bitcoin. He read the white paper of Bitcoin. He went and sold his building 1 million US dollars. He had 1 million US dollars. And he said, I'm not going to buy Bitcoin. I'm not going to buy Bitcoin. I have $1 million, but I'm not going to buy Bitcoin. But I'm going to provide a service that allows people to buy and sell Bitcoin. And this guy today is one of the top 5 holders of Bitcoin in the whole world. So, as you want to be financially free, cryptocurrency is a 24-hour-7 business. And you trading, building, allows you create provision of service to others. And I want to give you confidence about this. I know many people usually say you are enjoying from referrals, but I want to tell you, if you cannot learn from CZ, then you are becoming very stupid. If you cannot learn from CZ, a guy who had $1 million and said, okay, and the formula is simple. The formula is simple. I personally trade. That's why we come here. It is important that as I trade, I build. And as I build, then I can be able to hold. I'm building financial freedom. I create more capital to increase my trading capacity. I create more capital to hold more coins. If this doesn't suit your mind, then you are not an entrepreneur. You're a joker. So I want to encourage you guys. I want to stand with you. I want to encourage you that look, friends, we're already in a new day. And without my personal efforts, 121, 217, 160, 258, 172, 252, 200. So this is called, yes, I'm a trader like anybody else. But I must be able to build because the money is in providing a service. I want to be like CZ. Like CZ, who's a multi-billionaire. Whenever you trade using the exchange, he makes money. And it is important that you also sit down, work on your mindset. Because what is preventing you to do what you are supposed to do is just a mindset shift. You are failing to work on your mindset. The mindset of understanding that you need to provide a service to help other people make money in financial markets. That's why I say every forex trader, their most important dream is to become a forex broker. And you holding a Royal Q account qualifies you to be a broker of your own by building a community of traders who will enjoy financial markets. And whenever they do, you get paid. And unless you reach that mindset of growth, unless you work on your mind and stop pretending, unless you work on your mind and say enough is enough, unless you work on your mind and say, hey, why should I not maximize? Why should I not maximize the opportunity? I trade, I build, I hold, I trade, I build, I hold. Enjoy all the 3 avenues of the business. And unless your mindset reaches that capacity and power, cryptocurrency financial freedom might be very hard. Why? Because you will not be going out every day to look for money by yourself. For the last 3.5 years, for the last 10 years, for the last 15 years, it has always been up to you. For the last 15 years, for the last 30 years, it has been you. Every time you, la 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 la, you, walelele, you. Look at the big institutions. Now, it's about time for different people to take their children to school. The guy who owns the school understands that his success will not depend on him. That's why he provides a service for your children to study. You fight for your own money, you take the money to him, he makes a service. For you, it is you, me. But for the last 15 years, it has been me. It has been you. Every time you're talking about yourself. But let me give you a simple thing that changed my life. It is never about you. It is always about others. Let it be about you on trading. Let it be about you on hodling. But make sure you are building. Make sure you are building. Make sure every day you are reaching out to someone to tell them about cryptocurrency. You don't need to care what they say. You don't need to care what they believe. You don't need to care whether they believe in you or whether they don't. But as you keep on going, as you keep on doing, my friend, time is going to come, and as you trade with your skills, and as you build with your skills that you have developed, you are going to reach a time and freedom is at your stake. I want to thank you for choosing us to be your support team. Same time tomorrow, Coach Musa will be here to continue giving us more skills. But make sure the learning is in the doing. The learning is in the doing. Increase in
And
numbers what you lack in skill.
maybe before you end, Leader Julius, just supplement one point. Just to supplement one point. I've loved the fact that you're emphasizing the aspect of building, and it is very important. Also, you are attending, I'm speaking to the audience here, you are attending the training will enrich you with the skills that will in turn not only help you build, but also help the team or the people you're going to bring in the business to at least get a starting point in the trading journey. Because if you bring and then you can't help, that is also another wrong thing to do. So you should learn to have at least the skill that will be in position to help you help the other person you're bringing on board also to get started and follow the same track that you're actually following. Yeah, so that is the only thing I wanted to add on. Thank you.